Alright, today, I'm doing scary Reddit stories. It's like a 10-minute video. It's not that long, but if y'all like it, I'll do more later on. And let's get into the video.
I have a few different stories. They all mostly come from one house that I grew up in, but there is one story that comes from another house that I used to live in, and I'm telling these stories purely for other people's entertainment and to see if others have had similar experiences. I genuinely find thrill from scary experiences and hearing stories from other people, so I thought I would share some of me and my family's scariest experiences from when I was little. Number 1. The Hammer in the Toolbox, Part 1. So this is a story my dad told me and my brother Matt at the dinner table one night after work. My parents are divorced. Me and my brother were gone for a week or so, while our older brother stayed with our dad during this time. Anyways, basically my dad said that the first night we were gone, he had gone to bed early. No one was home besides him, Zach, the dogs, and the cats, and after he had fallen asleep, he was woken up by a loud noise coming from the top floor of the house. The house has 2 stories above ground, plus a basement. My dad's bedroom being on the main floor. Zach's room was directly above his, so automatically he thought Zach had made the noise. And it wasn't some ordinary noise. It sounded like something heavy had hit the ground. My dad went upstairs to investigate. Nothing seemed wrong at first, so he went into Zach's room to find Zach dead asleep. This confused him, so he went over to the monster room that was next to Zach's bedroom, which was an unfinished storage closet. This is where our toys, school supplies, and some of his household tools were stowed away. It was scary at night though, so we called it the monster room. When my dad stepped into the closet, he found his hammer on the ground, which in his head didn't make any sense, because my dad kept his tools, including the hammer, locked inside his toolbox at all times. But because it was late and my dad had to get up early, he simply put the hammer in the toolbox, walked downstairs to grab his keys, and then walked back upstairs to lock the toolbox, placing it back on the shelf. Part 2. So again, still telling us at the dinner table, my dad continued to tell us how it happened the second night, and this time both him and Zach woke up to the noise. Immediately my dad went upstairs and suspected Zach was playing games with him, going straight into his bedroom to find Zach huddled in his blankets and sitting on the corner of his bed. Zach was denying it in fear, and so my dad went to check the monster room again. And this time, the whole toolbox had fallen and all the tools were scattered on the ground. This of course irritated my dad, but brought him concern. He reassured Zach that it was okay and let him go back to bed as he cleaned up the mess. He then made his trip downstairs and back to grab his keys, locking the toolbox and setting it back on the shelf, but tucked it away this time. My dad then went back to his bedroom to sleep. This time, however, my dad couldn't sleep as easily, and toward the crack of dawn, my dad said he remembered hearing a voice say, "Get out."
Where the fuck? I claim none of this shit. The fuck? Hang on. Goddamn. That nigga. Where's my whole? You need some goddamn. This shit ain't gonna work. I need some holy water. Goddamn. Fuck no. Hang on. I'm keeping this shit right here.
Next to his ear. Nothing else happened for the rest of the night. My dad didn't leave. He just responded in anger before rolling over and closing his eyes. He said he had a rough time sleeping and getting up for work because of the night he had. Nowadays, I find that story to be slightly funny because of how my dad handled the situation. But when he told me the story, I was 7 or 8 years old, so it scared the shit out of me. Footsteps. So this was an experience I had in the same house around the same time. It was me, my dad, and my 2 brothers, including...
See, bruh? Why are you still in the house? Why are you still? You gotta go. First incident, you get it. Hey, this is your house. I'm packing my bag, nigga. I'm moving to Hawaii. You got it. This is your house. Fuck that.
Our animals. But here's the thing. The cats were locked in the basement due to breaking valuables that decorated the main floor dining room, and the dogs always slept with my dad, and he keeps his door shut. At this time, my bedroom was down the hall from my dad's. Zach's was still above his, and Matt's was directly above mine. So, this night, while everyone must have been asleep, I kept hearing footsteps from upstairs, and I knew my brothers to mess around at night and go into each other's rooms to do God knows what, so I automatically suspected that that was them. So cautiously, I went upstairs to tell them to shut up and stop walking around, but as soon as I got upstairs I noticed that no one was in Matt's room, causing me to walk across the day room and towards Zach's room. Inside, the both of them were asleep. I even woke them up to ask if they had been walking around, which they adamantly denied. So scared as fuck, I hurried back upstairs and jumped into my bed. Something told me to face away from the door, so I did, laying dead in the middle of my bed, eyes squinted shut while I faced my body towards the wall. I wasn't able to sleep, and what doubled the fear was when I heard the same footsteps once more. I cried until I passed out eventually. The next day I asked my brothers if Matt had gone back.
So you hear footsteps that nobody and you cry yourself to sleep? Then call the Ghostbusters. What the fuck?
To his room after I left them alone, and they denied it. And then they revealed that Matt refused to sleep in the room because he had repeatedly had nightmares in that room, or couldn't get enough sleep due to feeling as if someone was watching him. The Watcher in the trees. So this takes place in a different house, one that me and my brothers lived in along with our mother.
2 houses?
We're a bit older in this story. I believe I was either 10 or 11 years old. Anyways, the previous owner of the house had described 3 different ghosts claiming he could see them. One was a little boy, the other being a grown man, and the last one being an unknown.
So what I'm getting from this, you got ill parents. You had ill parents. They might have been great parents. But when it comes to living situations, bro, he told you in advance that it was ghost in there and you still accepted the keys? That's like me telling you Jason in the woods and you go out there.
Person who sat in the trees that surrounded the backyard and driveway. This obviously freaked me out to no end. I couldn't sleep alone. I always slept with my mom because my bedroom was facing the backyard. My brothers, on the other hand, decided to sleep on the main floor, while me and my mom slept on the 2nd floor. One morning around 3 a.m., my brother Zach and my mom were up as my mom was getting her things ready for work. She worked at a prison a block from our house and had to show up early to the facility to get the lights on and breakfast prepared. So yes, 3 a.m. That's a lot of food for her and only a few others to make. But as I was saying, her and Zach were having a civil conversation as they walked outside. Usually my mom has her smoke on the back patio, but my mom felt all the hairs on her neck stand up, so she grabbed Zach and told him to run to the car. When they got back in the car and had both doors shut, Zach was freaking out.
Both?
While he was venting and expressing his fear, they heard a thud against the driver's window. This caused my mom to grab her phone, turn the flashlight on, and face it towards the window. The light ended up revealing a handprint. My mom even took a photo, which sadly she doesn't have anymore, so I can't show it. But I believe them because Zach stopped sleeping on the main floor, and both him and Matt started sleeping upstairs with us after that.
Why the fuck are you still in the house?
This past Friday was our last day of school. It was a weird day to start. My mom usually picks me up from school, but she had a work meeting, so I got a ride home from one of my friends. I live in a gated community and the security guards are usually pretty nice about letting people in without a pass, as long as you either call ahead or have one resident in the car with you. It's not an extremely far walk to my house, but long enough. This guy randomly started following me out of nowhere. He was maybe 17 or 18 years old. I've never seen him before, so I really can't say for a fact. He started acting weird, almost like he was trying to hit on me. He started asking me things like my name, which house I lived in, and if he could have my phone number. I just pulled my phone out and fake texted to hopefully make him lose interest. He got super close to me and asked why I was ignoring him. I thought about walking up to one of my neighbor's houses to make it seem like I was home, and he wouldn't follow me. I opened my contacts to call my dad to see if he was home to come and pick me up. Then this weirdo started touching my phone screen to throw off what I was doing. When I started speeding up, he grabbed my phone from me and held it over his head. I'm 5'4" and wasn't tall enough to reach it. He said he would give it back when I answered him. My dad gave me a self-defense blowhorn to keep in my purse. I put it up to his...
Oh, so it's a female. Oh, yeah, see, that's dangerous. Yeah, bro. Nah, females, you gotta be extra cautious. Because he's 17. You don't know how old she is. He gotta be older than her. She 5'4". And this nigga takes her phone and hold it over his head. Me personally, you gotta kick the nigga in the nuts. That's the only explanation. Because you don't know. You don't give a damn.
Ear and let it off. He screamed and then dropped my phone. I picked it up and tried moving as quickly as possible. He called me a bitch and started coming towards me. Thankfully, my dad and one of his friends pulled up in his truck. They both got out and came over to check on me. My dad just grabbed me and pulled me to the truck, and his friend grabbed the guy by the sleeve, but he got free and ran away. I've never been more relieved.
What in the fucking Disney Channel was this? I never heard of that shit in a real life scenario in my damn life. This is some goddamn Nickelodeon, Disney, fucking Brad right there.
To see two people in my life. My dad dropped me off back at our house and went to complain to security about the guy and the fact that I couldn't be driven to the house. In a way, I feel like I may have overreacted to the whole thing, but in another way, I think I underreacted. Well,
you did it right
thank
there.
you for reading. Thank you guys for watching and listening. If you guys would like...
Me personally, the last story wasn't that scary, but she did the right... In her situation, it could have been scary. I'm looking at it wrong, but she did the right thing, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what the fuck that nigga intentions was. But the first two stories... Why are you standing in the house? Hey, I'm finna go listen to Tamala McMahon after this bullshit. Cause, hey, that shit can't be in my house. I'll be damned my shit start spinning. Hey, I don't be out this. No more videos for me. You just gonna move floors? The fuck moving the floor gonna do to... Nigga, he can go through the fucking floor. Oh, I catch y'all in the next video. If y'all like the scary stories, let me know. It's a whole bunch of them, like hours long, so I can do these forever. Catch y'all in the next one. I'm out.
Name my new stick trees, pointing at niggas, she gon' eat 'em. We on that wherever we see 'em. Tell your bitch to stay on my DM. You lame, I don't wanna be 'em.